Think Delta blues is just about finger picking and bottleneck slide? Well, yep, that's a lot of it, but in this video, we're going to talk strumming, Delta style. Let's get into it. Hey, John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues, where we take cool acoustic blues concepts and we break them down into straightforward, no frills lessons so that you can get to playing this music that you love as fast as possible. And today we're going to talk about Delta blues, but we're going to talk about a different side of it. We're going to talk about some of the strumming sounds that you hear. Our example piece is inspired by Suitcase Full of Blues by Ishman Bracey. Quick disclaimer before we move on, Ishman Bracey's playing is highly nuanced, and the same goes with a lot of the early Delta blues players. They seem to just have that feeling and run with it. And what we're going to do here in this lesson is we're going to capture sort of this strumming vibe, this easy up, down, swinging, strumming thing. We're going to punctuate it with a few Delta blues style moves that will really kind of bring out that Delta sound. But when you go back and listen to the records, you're going to see that there's a whole lot more that you can explore. What we're going to do here is set the stage for that and get you going and playing some Delta blues in this strumming style. All right, I'm in standard tuning and I'm using a thumb pick, but you could definitely use a flat pick here or even do some thumb and index finger brushes to get this strumming sound. But here we go, listening to the first 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you can hear there's some strumming elements at play here, and there's also a couple of really bluesy notes. Let's start this off just going beat by beat through this thing. First up is a downstroke, and it's really just on the bass string. So hit your low 6th string, but you can push through and hit that 5th string as well while holding down an E major chord here, okay? Again, standard tuning. Then you strum up, and just make sure you catch the top 2 strings, but if you get that 3rd string in there, no problem. This sounds really good and gives it kind of some air if you don't really worry so much about the strings that you're hitting. Try not to hit all 6. We want some contrast between the low and the high. That kind of gives this some movement and some balance, and again some contrast between the lower strings and these high strings. All right, and that's really going to be important when we start this next bit. That part right there, okay? When we get to that, what's happening there is I'm putting my little finger down on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, so the C sharp, and I'm very gently pushing that up in pitch. I'm doing a little bend. Just do that with my index finger so you can see it. And I'm pushing the string up, out of tune and sharp, not even quite that sharp, but just gently putting that little bluesy edge on it. And you can do that while you're holding down the chord. And this may be difficult for you at first because your little finger doesn't really have a job in the beginning of your playing. You know, you've got to develop it. And this is one really cool and sneaky little lick that you can do to give that finger a little job. All right, so we're going to put down on that C sharp, and then we just kind of lightly strum with a down up as we push. So we've got, and that last up, you're going to pick up the pinky finger and just expose that open B note. 2, 3, 4. After you've got that down, we've got to finish out this measure with a little micro lick. We're going to hit the open 3rd string, so just pick up your finger, your index finger, from its position here in the E major chord, pick it up, then come back to the 1st fret, so G, G sharp, and then the E on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And of course, the rhythm, the timing is very important there. We've got this cool swinging vibe here with that sort of shuffle feel, that bump, 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 bump. It's not straight eights like bump, 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 bump. That middle note, that middle rhythm division is pushed closer to the next main beat. Bump, 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 bump. All right, so you've got that going, and kind of get that in your rhythm here. And we're going to keep that going by doing this to finish out the measure. Now, it can be a little bit difficult to switch between this bigger strumming movement to picking single notes with accuracy. This is a fundamental skill, and I threw it in here not only because it really rounds out this piece and gives it some cool delta vibe, but also because this is a skill that you definitely need to develop. It's a great way to add some balance to your strumming and not just sound like you're doing this. Throw in that little micro lick in there to give some balance to the technique and add just a little bit something interesting to the measure. We repeat that 4 times for our E part of this 12-bar blues, and it sounds like this. Now that we've got our E part out of the way, we're going to walk into our A7. So the same timing as this thing, kind of keep some continuity going there, but we're walking in chromatically this time from the open 4th string to the 1st fret, and then here to our E. And then we're going to strum through some A7. All right, so make sure you get that G on top, 1st string, 3rd fret, and then here's how the A7 bar goes. Then we repeat that. We've got 2 bars of A7 in this case, so we're going to repeat it. At the end of our A7 bars, we're going to transition back into E for a couple of measures, and we're going to do that by walking into it with that little tag, that little micro lick. And once we're there, we're going to play a couple bars of E. All right, before we move on, I got a question for you. I want to know if you are a finger picker, if you wear a thumb pick, or if you really just gravitate toward a flat pick. This lesson can really be played in any of those picking styles, so I'm curious which one really speaks to you. What's your go-to picking style? All right, now let's get back to the lesson and finish out this progression. We're ready to go to our B7, so we're going to walk into it chromatically, just like the A7, but this time from the 2nd fret. All right, very similar strumming there. The only difference is I'm avoiding this 5th string here. All right, and then we're going to walk back into the A7. This time we are strumming and using that 5th string as our low note, our bass there. And then back to our E. Just have some fun and strum out on that last measure. I do like to take a break from this bent C sharp on the last measure just to give some break and just to let yourself know that this is the last bar, and we're going to start back around at bar 1, which features this, right? So it can be a good little place to just strum out something as simple as that. But then you're ready to rock and roll back into bar 1. All right, now that we've got the bits and pieces down and we generally know how it's structured, we've got to play through it. So let's play through it slowly together. Grab your guitar. You do have your guitar in your hand, right? All right, grab your guitar, if not, and let's play through this thing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. if the structure that we just went through doesn't make sense to you, or you really like the key to unlock that 12-bar blues progression, then check out the Acoustic Blues Jumpstart. It's a 3-pack free lessons from Blues Guitar Institute. You'll get up and running with some quick wins, and you'll be able to play through 12-bar blues and really understand what that framework is all about. You can pick that up by heading over to bluesguitarinstitute.com/start now and sign up. That's it for this lesson. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another cool acoustic blues lesson. And until then, practice smart and play on.